Welcome to the COW2 Network. This is Jerry, and I'm with a special guest, Dr. Professor John McDick. Today our studio has a special segment for you on the Great War. But first, let's talk about our guest. Dr. Professor John McDick has created a time machine that will allow anyone in the present to travel back in time to events that occurred in the past.
This time machine will let your reporters travel back to the Great War era and explore scenes firsthand.
Now, let's talk a little about the Great War, better known as World War I. What were the main causes?
World War I started on June 28, 1914, with the death of Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie, who were assassinated by Gavrilo Princip, a member of the Black Hand, a terrorist group from Serbia. This was the spark that thrust the Allied nations and Central Powers into the Great Conflict.
Other causes of the war were countries working towards achieving imperialism, the idea that a country should increase its power and wealth by gaining territories.
Imperialism is supported by militarism because in order to protect this newly gained land, countries were forced to invest in bigger and better armies.
Finally, nationalism, something that all Americans share. Citizens wanted to show their pride and dominance to other countries. Eventually, Germany sided with Austria-Hungary and Russia with Serbia. These two alliances went into war, dragging other allies with them soon after.
Right, but we're going to be focusing more on the United States and its role in World War I.
Now, before a short commercial break, I'm sure our viewers are interested in how you created this time machine.
Sorry, but I can't reveal the secret to my time machine. All I can say is that it was the result of hard work, dedication, research, and diligent work.
Alright, that's understandable. Stay tuned after this short break. Welcome back. So, Dr. Professor John McDick, why did the U.S. become involved in World War I? They could have stayed neutral and not suffered any casualties, both human and economic.
Well, at the beginning of the war, the British began blockading German waters in an attempt to keep them from receiving ammunition. This led Germany to start unrestricted submarine warfare. German U-boats torpedoed all ships in its path. This included passenger ships such as the Lusitania. On May 1915, when the Lusitania was sunk, a total number of 1,198 people died. 128 of them were American.
They soon sank the Arabic and the Sussex, leaving many Americans dead or injured. However, in the Sussex Pledge, Germany promised to spare lives in future U-boat attacks.
Along with this, a telegram from Zimmerman to a prime minister in Mexico was intercepted by the British. This telegram stated that if the U.S. would be likely to enter the war, Germany was to form an alliance with Mexico to attack America and possibly help to regain their lost land. This angered and enraged many Americans.
These were the two main reasons that led America into war. Now, it's time to send our reporters through the time machine. Our first test subject will be Frederick Hamilton, who will be talking about the Battle of Hamel. Another short commercial break. Afterwards, we'll be sending our best reporters back in time.
Damn, so thirsty. That water is so dirty. What am I gonna have to drink?
Hello, kind sir.
Who are you?
I'm the Coca-Cola representative.
What? What are you doing in my house?
I came here to show you some Coca-Cola.
What's Coca-Cola?
It's an energizing caffeine drink, really sweet. Try some. It's a little fizzy.
Oh. How much?
A nickel.
Give me 20!
Alright, man. I got you.
Coca-Cola.
Do you have any family members or friends fighting in the Great War? Do you know what you're sending them as a gift for Christmas? Well, how about a snow globe? These people have risked their lives for you, and you should at least send them a present for Christmas, and why not a snow globe? Order in the next 10 minutes and receive free shipping towards your order. Call 201-345-6789 now!
So I stand right here?
Yes, just put this in your pocket. You may feel a little jittery, but just remain on this platform and you'll pop up in the Battle of Hamel.
Okay.
Alright, so now you're gonna punch in the coordinates?
Doot, 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 doot. Sending in 3, 2, 1. Doot.
Yo, man, what is this? Yo, I'm disappearing. What is this? What? Well, the time machine actually worked. Here, right before the Battle of Hamel in April 1918 in the Villers-Boutonnex, the east side is guarded by the Australians, and the Allies keep pestering the Germans by performing small raids on German front lines. This tactic was known as peaceful penetration. Eventually, the Allies were worried about where the Germans would attack next. The Germans pushed forward, and within days they covered 40 kilometers. They were right outside of Paris. Before the Germans had a chance to attack Paris, the Australian Corps turned their control over to Lieutenant General John Monash. Monash led the U.S. and the Australians into battle to a city north of Villers-Boutonnex, Hamel. They quickly assaulted the Germans. One private, Henry Danville, charged into a machine gunner and killed him with a revolver. Another one, Lance Corporal Thomas Axford, eliminated a machine gun tower and killed 16 Germans with a grenade. The battle lasted a mere 90 minutes, and the Germans had a crushing defeat. There were 1,062 Australian casualties, with 800 dead, 176 American casualties, with almost 100 dead, while the Germans suffered around 2,000 dead and 1,600 captured. This is Frederick Hamilton reporting live from 1918. Now back to you, Professor John McDick and Jerry. Now, how do we get out of here?
Thanks, Hamilton. Next, we have Nickelbobbin and his report on the Second Battle of Marne.
Nickelbobbin here, and I'm at the Second Battle of Marne, which began on July 15th and ended on August 6, 1918. This was the last major German offensive in the spring of 1918 on the Western Front. The Germans' attack failed when an Allied counterattack led by France overwhelmed the Germans, inflicting severe casualties. This was a turning point of the war. This battle began in Germany's favor when 23 German divisions of the 1st and 3rd Army, led by Bruno von Mudra and Karl von Einem, assaulted the French 4th Army under Henry Gouraud east of Reims. The U.S. 42nd Division was part of the French 4th Army and was commanded by Gouraud at the German 7th Army under Max von Bowen, aided by the 9th Army under Eben, and attacked the French 6th Army led by Jean Degout to the west of Reims. The Germans on East Reims was stopped on the first day, but the Western offensive went better. The defenders at the south bank of Marne could not escape the 3-hour fury of German guns. While they were distracted by the gunfire, stormtroopers swarmed across the river in boats and rafts. But with the help of the British and US, the French held off the attack until July 17th. Because the Germans could not break the defense, it allowed the Allies' Supreme Commander Ferdinand Foch to launch a counterattack. With 8 large US divisions and 350 US tanks, they attacked the German salient. The preparation of the Allies allowed them to know how the battle would go down to every minute. Foch found flaws in the German offensive and used it to his advantage, with that to completely push the Germans out of their territory. Now back to you.
Thanks, Nickelbobbin. Next and finally, we're going to a report by Sebastian on the Battle of Soissons.
So here I am at the Battle of Soissons. The Battle of Soissons lasted from July 18th to July 22nd, 1918. Between the French with American assistance and the German armies, the Allied Supreme Commander Ferdinand Foch planned a major counteroffensive on July 18th, in which 24 French divisions, 7 British divisions, and the Buffalo Soldiers, 92nd Infantry Division of the United States, they were reinforced with fought for the Allies. 8 large United States divisions and 350 tanks, armed at taking out the salient that was aimed at Paris. As a result, the Allies suffered a total of 125,000 casualties, 95,000 for French, 13,000 for British, and 12,000 for the Americans. Germany faced a total number of 168,000 casualties. The battle ended with the French recapturing most of their lost lands to Germany earlier that year. Back to you, Jerry.
Alright, to finish off today's segment, we have an actual call from a World War I veteran, and he wants to share his experiences with us in the war. My name is John McLaughlin. I am a veteran of the Great War, or what many of you now refer to it as World War I. because of the Selective Service Act, which forced all men between the ages of 21 and 31 to join the war effort. I was forced to join the army. I was actually only 1 day from being 32, but damn it, they took me anyway. Mr. McLaughlin, how did the war affect you physically? I woke up one morning with trench foot on my right foot. No! I screamed. The doctor said he had to cut it off. So he did. Sorry, I got a little emotional. When I woke up the next morning, I had trench foot on my other foot. They cut that off too. Alright, McLaughlin. I understand that you're now stranded to a wheelchair, but what do you think had the biggest mental toll on you because of the war? The blood. I saw so much blood. In the winters, the snow would be red. Crimson red. The blood of my friends, the blood of my comrades, stained my surroundings. I once saw a grenade land in a soldier's mouth. I don't know why it was open, but it did not end well for him. Alright, before we go, the show's almost over. We can't chat for too long. But Mr. McLaughlin, could you share some insight on the trenches, because I hear that the conditions there were like terrible. Most of my time spent during the war was in trenches. Oh, the damn trenches. Conditions in the trenches during World War I were horrendous. The better trenches would be about 7 feet deep and 4 to 6 feet wide. Sometimes sandbags would line the sides of the trench. Otherwise, a kind latticework wall of hazel branches was used, a bit like hurdle fences. Planking would be laid in the base. On the lip of the trench would be sandbags and barbed wire. Frequently, Allied and enemy trenches would be as little as 50 feet apart. Here and there, dugouts were literally dug into the earth to provide shelter when the fighting wasn't too intense. Other than that, there was little shelter. In the summer, the trench would be exposed to the hot sun, and in winter to pouring rain and snow. The rain filled up the trench, and water seeped in through the sides, leaving the troops up to their knees in thick, stinking mud that made any movement difficult. There was no sanitation, and rats were a problem. Diseases were rife, such as dysentery and trench foot. There would be no relief for frontline troops for weeks on end. Even a near miss from an artillery shell could collapse a trench or cause dugout to collapse, burying alive those inside. The nearness of death, the fear of it, the smell of it, the horrific sights of shattered bodies, the screams of friends cut in half, and the constant shelling combined to send many men insane, either at the time or later in life. Conditions in the trenches were literally hell on earth. Okay, thank you, Mr. McLaughlin. I applaud you for your service for our nation, and God bless you. Thank you, and goodbye. Well, that concludes today's show, and all we have left to do now is bring our reporters back. Has anyone seen Dr. Professor John McDick? Dr. Professor? Dr. Professor? Hey, Trixie! Trixie, have you seen Dr. Professor? Yeah, can you check the bathroom, Trixie? Hey, yo, I told you not to eat while you're on duty, yo. What's up with that? Is he in the bathroom? Trixie! No?
No, iPod, no.
What happened?
No.
What?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. It was probably gonna tell us how to bring them back. I forgot about that part, so yeah, Dr. Professor. What? Wait, how are we gonna get him back? Recording.
Experiencing
It won't stop recording.